Hey YouTube, Rob again, doing another video for you. Today I'm doing another DVD Blu-ray update, which I did one last week, but I've been bought quite a bit recently and watched a couple, so I thought I might just do another video of what I bought and what I've been watching. This is probably the third take on this. I'm just trying to explain this very first movie. I'm just having a really hard time trying to explain it. So we'll try again. Right. Yeah, okay. So the movie here, a bit of a sort of blind buy, which I sort of bought. I think it was I saw it sort of cheap online and didn't know much about the film. So I decided to look it up, and the premise to it just sounded really interesting and really a good sort of film to watch. But it gets sort of very terrible reviews online, so I wasn't sort of interested in to sort of watch it and sort of find out maybe why it's so bad. It's actually a Spike Lee film. My friend Kevin, Dr. Hasline, he's a big sort of Spike Lee fan, and I don't think I've ever sort of seen a Spike Lee movie before, so I thought that's sort of another reason why I sort of picked it up. So yeah, we'll try again on how to explain it. The movie's called Miracle at St. Anna, sort of a war film. Now the film itself, a bit of background I suppose, it is actually, supposedly based on true events, but I'm not, from what I read, I don't think it's necessarily, I think the major story is pretty much a work of fiction, as far as I can make out. But sort of the true part of it, though, is that this is sort of based on real people, based on what they called the Buffalo Soldiers, which were like sort of all black African American sort of platoons. What's the word that uses on the back here? Division, infantry division. I think they sort of started back in, I think it was like Civil War times. I think that was the first time they ever sort of had all blacks in the one platoon type thing. The film is actually sort of set in two time periods. Obviously, World War II. But the very sort of beginning of the film sort of set in 1986. The very sort of interesting sort of intro to the film. Very much it reminded me a lot of, it's actually, this is a bit off topic I suppose, but it is related. If you ever watched the TV show Dexter, there was a very sort of similar sort of thing happened in that. Anyway, so the film starts out with this old man sort of working in a post office sort of behind the counter, and sort of this customer comes in and asks to buy some stamps, and basically as soon as the guy behind the counter sort of sees this guy, he just sort of picks up a gun from nowhere and just sort of shoots him and basically kills him on the spot, sort of in front of all these people. I think it's like a German, World War II German Luger. I think that's what you call those guns, like one of the actual, proper, World War II guns. And of course, the police are called, and then we sort of, they go to his house, and sort of find this sort of statue, like a head of a statue, which has sort of been missing, since World War II type thing. The police officer, Jason Gordon Lovett, sort of asking the old man, why on earth did you shoot this guy? What's he done to you type thing, and then we get this sort of this flashback, and then we sort of find out the two have obviously met before in wartime. That's sort of the beginning of the story, and then we sort of get this. So then we get the flashback. Sort of in the flashback, it's basically just sort of about this four guys. They sort of get separated from the rest of their group, and they're sort of you're basically just trying to survive, sort of relying on each other type thing. And they sort of find their way, you'd think it's into Italy, to like a little sort of village in there, and they sort of hide out there, sort of trying to hide away from the Germans till they sort of get rescued. Now it's very, the film itself did sort of remind me a lot of Apocalypse Now, if you've sort of seen that that war movie. Just it's very sort of surreal and sort of a lot of sort of odd things happen, and a bit sort of crazy events, I guess. You got sort of different, obviously you've got, different sort of bunch of characters with different sort of personalities, and there's also a lot of sort of storylines going on too. There's a lot of different sort of characters that they sort of meet along the way, and each character's got their own sort of story, and that sort of, plays out. It's a very sort of long film. I think it's 154 minutes. So you've got sort of these different sort of storylines sort of happening. Basically, so they sort of meet this, sort of meet this little boy. He sort of just appears out of nowhere. He seems to be a bit sort of shell-shocked and sort of by himself. So one of the guys sort of takes a bit of a shine to him and basically, takes him under his wing type thing and sort of looks after him. The guy that's sort of doing that, he's very sort of big dude, and not particularly all that smart type thing, and he sort of does annoy the rest of the platoon. Because I think in some ways he has sort of stepped a bit, and he has sort of lost, his sort of grip on reality type thing. He sort of says a lot of strange things, and it's a bit hard to explain. There's a lot of things sort of happening. It's sort of a bit hard to sort of explain it all. But the guy, he's very, how to explain it? He's kind of like I don't want to sort of use the term lucky charm, I suppose, for the rest of the group. But he's, for a guy that's not, but he's very big, so he's like an easy target to get shot. He's not particularly bright as well, but in some ways he still managed to survive that. He's very much the only person that, seems to survive whenever they get attacked. So in some ways he's very much the rest of the platoon sort of puts up with him, because in some ways that he's like a bit of a lucky charm, and he doesn't. They know if they sort of stay behind him, they're going to be looked at. They're going to survive or something. I'll probably explain that very well, but that's sort of the way it is, sort of thing. He's very, war's very strange, I guess, and in some ways that I guess they're, I guess it's a bit silly to sort of say that he's, immune, or invincible type of thing, but if that's the only thing you've sort of got to sort of rely on, if that sort of makes sense, why you're getting, shot with all these bullets, type of thing. That's what you're going to rely on, some, sort of strange idea of, being protected. Anyway, I'll explain that very well. But yeah, I don't perhaps want to go too much into it. It's a bit hard to explain, but as I sort of said before, I think in some way, as I said before, it wasn't particularly well received. A lot of people didn't really like it that much, which I can sort of see, I suppose. In some ways, I said before, it's a bit strange, and certain things happen, you're not really quite sure, why it's happened, type thing. And there's sort of a lot going on. There's a lot of sort of storylines, and in some ways, I think they should have cut down some of those storylines and perhaps sort of just concentrated on, just a couple of storylines. Sort of this perception that the black people weren't necessarily, they couldn't understand necessarily why they should be sort of fighting in like a white man's war. They when they're not necessarily liked that much, by whites, I guess. So why are they sort of there fighting for this war? And so there's a lot of sort of mistrust between blacks and whites, and whereas when they sort of go to Italy, I mean, the Italian people were very much. They don't really necessarily mind that they're black, or they don't seem to sort of worry about racism, type thing. They do sort of get embraced a lot more. They sort of get embraced a lot more in a foreign country than they do in their own country, But anyway, I'm sort of I'm going to talk too much about this one. I mean, I definitely thought it was pretty good. I didn't mind it that much. It just a lot of a bit odd, and certain things I didn't sort of like about it. I think it could have been perhaps cut out some of the storylines to it, and some bits don't really necessarily get explained all that much, if that sort of makes sense. Anyway, look, definitely a good film. I think really probably one to watch at least once, I reckon. Okay, the next two are actually just some digibooks, which I sort of bought because I'm always like digibooks. I think they're probably I think I much prefer them as a release over still books. I mean, you can get nice still books, but I think digibooks usually come with pictures and A lot better release, I think, normally. So I got the Digibook of Ray, which I think came out a few years ago, obviously based on the true life story of Ray Charles. I'm a bit of a Ray Charles fan. I think he does make some great music. This is a very good movie about his life, type thing, played by Jamie Foxx. Definitely a really good movie, and a really nice digibook, I think, too. I got this. I think got this one off Amazon, I think, but pretty sort of cheap price. Next one is An Affair to Remember, another really nice digibook. I'm not sure if I've sort of seen this one or not. I think I'm just sort of reading the back of the back here. And I think I might have just going by the synopsis to it. I think I might have seen this one perhaps before a long time ago, but I'll definitely give this one a bit of a watch at some point. Next film was actually a I actually bought this one by mistake, I think. I don't know how I managed to do it, but I think it must have got mixed up with another movie. The film was actually called Shelter. I think the other one I was thinking of perhaps might have been Gimme Shelter or something. I'm pretty sure someone was talking about that before and recommended it to me. So that's what I thought this one was, but this is obviously not it. I don't know how I managed to get that mixed up. But anyway, but this is sort of a supernatural horror type one, which I did sort of watch, starring Julianne Moore. I think it wasn't too bad. I don't think I necessarily quite understood exactly what was happening all the way through it. It's actually about this guy here, and he sort of ends up in like a mental institution type thing. The police sort of bring him in, and Julianne Moore's kind of like the psych doctor. She's obviously there. You ask him sort of questions. Who are you and where you're from? Type thing. But he's got this very much he's got a split personality. So one moment you'll say he's one person, then the next minute he'll sort of go for this sort of spasm type change, and then he'll be a totally different sort of person. I think Julianne Moore thinks he's obviously faking it. Just trying to think. I did sort of watch it a little week or two ago. I think all the people that he sort of changes into are all sort of dead people. I think one of them was like it's a bit hard to explain. One of them is like a murderer, I think. So, I mean, that's the premise to it. She's just trying to prove that he's wrong, that he's making it up, type thing. And then you sort of find out the backstory to it, and I don't necessarily want to spoil it too much. But I didn't think it was too bad. It was quite entertaining and just a little bit confusing. I didn't quite necessarily understand what was going on the whole time, but anyway. So I'll sort of watch once perhaps, and then perhaps not watch again. Next film is actually sort of a classic, bit of I don't know if you want to call it a chick flick. I suppose it's a bit of a chick flick. From 1961, with Audrey Hepburn, probably her most favourite movie of all time. Breakfast at Tiffany's. I've never sort of seen this film before, and people would, it's a classic, so I thought I might check it out, give it a watch, and sort of see what it was like. Definitely wasn't a film. It definitely wasn't quite what I was expecting. I mean, I didn't necessarily know what to expect because I didn't know all that much about it when I sort of started to watch it. And I don't think I necessarily can explain necessarily what it's about. I mean, it's about Audrey Hepburn, obviously. She sort of lives in like a building with sort of other tenants, and this guy, I think it's Paul, played by George Papar. He moves in, and the two meet, and he's very sort of fascinated with her because she's a bit sort of strange and a bit eccentric, type thing. Very much a socialite type thing. She sort of knows a lot of sort of strange, sort of arty type people, and she goes to parties, and I guess it's sort of just about their relationship, and I don't know, how he sort of falls in love with her, just the characters, and so I can't necessarily explain. It's sort of like very sort of everyday type things that they sort of get up to, if that sort of makes sense. But it's very much, I did like the storyline to it. It was very much you didn't necessarily know what was going to happen next, type thing to it. Very much a well written screenplay, I think, to it. You know, kind of like, I don't know, perhaps relate it to Quentin Tarantino, I suppose, but it's the same sort of thing where it's just a really good, well written sort of storyline. You don't necessarily, just, you know, great characters and, you know, good sort of dialogue, and you're not really quite sure what's going to happen next. Very sort of fresh type experience to it. Obviously, this film's also got the very sort of famous character by Mickey Rooney, where he sort of plays like the racist Asian type character, I guess, or very sort of, you know, racist sort of stereotype of an Asian character, I guess. There's also even like a documentary, like a sort of a featurette on that, the Asian perspective on that, because at the time it was a very sort of perceived to be a very sort of racist, you know, type of character, and you know, giving obviously offensive to the Asian community. There's actually sort of feature on there, and they sort of explain that, you know, it probably at the time it might have been a bit racist, and but it wasn't necessarily. It's, you know, it's you know, sort of part of the film, I suppose, and, you know, you can't necessarily take that out of the film, I suppose, can you? And it was sort of made with, wasn't necessarily made as a racist thing. It was made as more of a sort of a, I don't know, I guess perhaps they didn't sort of know better, or, but it doesn't, yeah, it's not necessarily that. You can sort of see that it was there, you know, purely as a character, and wasn't meant to be, you know, perhaps racist in any sort of forms. Then it sort of talks about, yeah, obviously that was a bad sort of stereotype of an Asian sort of character, but then it sort of talks about, you know, other films, more of a positive sort of Asian sort of characters, like, I can't remember his name, is it Mr. Sulu, out of the Asian character out of Star Trek? He was a very sort of popular sort of pro model, I guess, for, you know, Asians in, you know, in TV and in movies type thing, and stuff like that. The only other, I noticed they didn't mention Bruce Lee though, which I was quite interested in, because I would have thought Bruce Lee would have been a very big positive role model, role model for the Asian community. And also, if you've seen it's a bit off topic, I suppose, but if you've seen the Ed of the Dragon movie, sort of based on Bruce Lee's life, there's actually sort of scene in that where Bruce Lee goes, when he's a teenager, or when he first meets his American wife, anyway, they're going on a date, and they sort of go to watch that movie, and they're all the people in the audience are sort of laughing at this sort of, you know, this Asian character on screen, because obviously they're watching Breakfast at Tiffany's on, you know, on the screen. They're all laughing, she's laughing, but Bruce Lee's not laughing because he thinks it's a, you know, really bad, you know, being a negative thing. So she sort of realises that, which I think is a very sort of powerful scene in that movie. And I don't necessarily know why Bruce Lee wasn't mentioned in this sort of this featurette. Because I think he's probably one of the biggest sort of Asian film stars, I think, of all time, I think. But yeah, that's sort of way off topic. But definitely I thought this was actually, yeah, a good movie, I thought. I really liked the cat in it too. I thought he was a great actor. The cat was always, I don't know, he's very, very much, I don't know how they managed to sort of get the cat to do all these things in the movie, but he was, not necessarily do tricks or anything, but he was very sort of, you know, the characters would sort of pick him up or move into a certain spot and he'd sort of stay there, and, you know, stuff like that. Okay, next one's actually a concert. Adele, live at live at the Royal Albert Hall. A bit of a fan of Adele. I think she's just a great singer. Probably one of the only sort of modern singers, I guess, male or female, that I listen to. I think I'm not a huge fan of her sort of modern sort of music, I guess, in some ways. But I really do love Adele, and I think probably Pink is probably the other good singer that I probably like of recent times. I've sort of downloaded this concept a long time ago, and I think recently I've pretty much just been watching it every day for like a week or so. So I thought it was about time I sort of picked up the the Blu-ray to it and got the glare to it. Got the actual proper watch it in all the Blu-ray goodness. It also comes with an audio CD as well. I was really like Adele's music. I think she's just a great musician, great singer. The only problem I have sort of had with this particular concert is she does sort of swear a lot. I mean, she's a very beautiful singer and sings very beautiful songs, but then she's sort of in between the songs she just starts swearing and saying the F word and sort of thing. It's a bit sort of off-putting in some ways, but I guess that's her though, isn't it? You can't necessarily change her, I guess. But anyway, but yeah, that's a great concert. Especially if you're a fan of Adele, this is definitely one to check out. I've also got a sort of a documentary, or she's not even quite sure what it is exactly about her. I think it's sort of about her story. I think sort of before she became famous. So I thought I'd just grab. I think this was pretty cheap, so I just sort of grabbed that. I'll give that a watch. Some point I might try and get through some of these a bit quicker, so otherwise it's going to be too long. I got an animated movie, The Black Cauldron, I think from 1986 or something like that, was it? 1980 something or other. Anyway, it actually was pretty good, I thought. I don't necessarily watch you sort of, I mean, I have sort of watched, most of the Disney ones, I guess, but I think I've sort of seen this one. I might have seen it before, perhaps at one time or another. But this was actually pretty good, I thought. It did sort of remind me a lot of Lord of the Rings. There's sort of very much a Lord of the Rings sort of element to it. Got sort of the Black Cauldron, which I guess is in some ways the ring. Then you got the horned, the Horned King, which is sort of the evil, Celeron, whatever his name is, character. Then you also got sort of the Gollum character in there as well. Sort of this character that sort of helps the main character, because he's sort of on a mission to find the Black Cauldron and destroy it, type thing, before it gets sent into the hands of the evil horned king. But yeah, I just thought it was pretty good, I thought. Good film. I won't necessarily go too much into that one. Picked up a double dip. Got the Steelbook edition of a movie that I sort of picked up a month or two ago. Picked up the Prometheus Steelbook, which I think is actually a really nice Steelbook. Just give it a quick look at that. A bit uploaded, nothing necessarily that fantastic in there, I don't think. I'll just take it one of the discs. If you can see that or not. Yeah, so that's that. So I got that just purely, just because it was fairly cheap. So I got that. And then finally, I did last week. I did sort of show that I picked up the Hobbit Steelbook, which I was very happy to get, because I was really, I really do like the movie. I thought it was a great movie. I did sort of buy this one second hand. I think it was like $20, I think $22 or something like that, which I thought was a absolute bargain at the time. But then JB Hi-Fi were actually had it for $16. So I did sort of buy another 2 copies of it. I'm not quite sure why I sort of bought another 2 exactly. I think I just thought, well, that's too much of a bargain to sort of pass up. So I thought I'd better grab it. So I thought I might perhaps, give one away, I suppose. I mean, I don't necessarily, I could probably sell them perhaps at a later date and make a profit, I suppose, at some point. But I don't know. I don't necessarily can be bothered to do that, I suppose. So I might perhaps just give one away to someone. So I was just trying to think of perhaps of a question to ask, run a contest or something. But what I might just, I don't really care, to be honest. I might just, what I might do is I might just get you someone. I'm sort of just really interested to sort of know who actually watches my videos. So what I might do is I might get just someone for people just to write me a comment below. Talk about one of these movies that I got, or I don't know, even just say hello or something. Just any sort of comment you want. and then I might perhaps put your name into the that random org thingy, whatever you want to call it, and just pick a winner, and then I'll just sort of send it out to you. I suppose I don't necessarily. I just want to make it super easy for people because I just want to know. I'm interested to sort of know who's watches my videos, and because some people necessarily might watch my videos, but not necessarily comment on anything. So I might just, if you just want to leave me a comment, any sort of comment, then I'll just do a random, put your names on a hat or something, and just randomly pick one out, and then I'll send you a copy. I can't make that any easier than I can't make that any easier than that. God, I can't talk. So thanks for watching my really bad video. So if you've just sort of seen any of these movies, leave me a comment. Thanks for watching. And that's it. I'll see you soon with another video. Bye. That was terrible.